joined now by Innovative Staffing Solutions MD Arnoux Mare. Arnoux, thank you so much for your time this morning. Can you just expound to us? I think context to the conversation is always very important. How did we get here?
Well, the minister extended, or the bargaining council, rather, let's put it that way, applied for extension of its general agreement to non-parties within the industry. Now, that means if you're not a part of one of the employers' organizations, or you're not a member to a union which is a party to the council, then you automatically get extended and pulled into this agreement which you had no say in, and we started challenging that. So we did a lot of research, both us and our legal team, and we found that certain aspects of Section 32 of the Labour Relations Act was never followed, which had to be followed as it is law, and those laws ensure that everybody gets a fair say within the industry whether these agreements should be extended or not. So,
just again, for the purposes of context, why is it that you guys are challenging this? What issues are you foreseeing, where government has done this extension?
Well, we're definitely challenging it for ourselves, as we don't agree with the extension. We didn't see that the minister gave the public the chance to actually comment on this, as he's supposed to do in terms of Section 32. And we're also challenging this because this extension touches more than just our company. It actually touches a broad spectrum of companies, employers, unions, employers' organizations. It touches an entire industry, which is one of our largest industries in the country. And extending this and hiking prices within the industry, which is already struggling because of fuel hikes, strikes. We saw looting a couple of months ago, and I think this is a dangerous thing to do without getting that public comments that the minister is forced to get.
So do you really think that the minister right now is trying to strong-arm those that are in the transport and logistic in the sectors of industry? And how then do you, you're taking this matter to court. Have there been any form of engagements extensively outside of now this decision, and have you been ignored as a result?
Yes, we actually have been ignored. I'll never say that I think the minister is trying to strong-arm anything. We know that ministers are busy and they have councils that actually work with them to get to a decision. So it's not a personal action towards the minister. It's just testing what he actually decided, which is any companies or any person which is affected's legal rights. But what we do think is, when we look at an industry which employs so many people, you need to be sure that the law was followed. Those laws are there with the specific procedures for everybody. Nobody's above that ambit of the law. No company, no employee, not a bargaining council, and also not a minister. So fair procedure needs to be followed, because without procedure, the entire infrastructure will start falling apart.
Mr. Mare, to your knowledge, what has been the reaction from the parties outside of the Road Freight Bargaining Council?
Well, it's difficult for me to talk about what other people are saying, but a lot of non-parties agree with what we are saying. A lot of people have actually contacted us and said, good luck with this. We really hope that it'll be successful at the end of the day, and we truly believe that it will be. I think our research is solid. Only the Bargaining Council to this point has opposed our application. They had until 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon to give us an intention to oppose. And the only party that has actually opposed us to this point is the Bargaining Council. We have not yet received an intention to oppose from the Minister's office. So we'll see whether that happens in the near future. And then we'll be heard in court. And we honestly believe that this case will be seen as serious as it is.
You know, as you're speaking about heading to court and this case being taken with the seriousness as it deserves, as you're saying that it could result in potential job losses, Arnoux, then what does it say then about, especially when it comes to the Department of Labour, regarding due processes being followed as well as necessary consultations being followed before certain iconic decisions actually get taken? Most of the time, it's not usually the first time that, you know, whether it's the bargaining council, whether it's the freight industry or the transportation or logistics industry that will say, we would appreciate just some kind of consultation before the decision is taken. Had there been the due process and consultation before this decision was taken, would there have been a different response?
Definitely think there would have been. If you look at the representation within the industry, which is one of the biggest points that they look at when extending these general agreements, the bargaining council must represent the majority of the industry. So we looked at their annual reports, and in the last few of the annual reports, even the newest one, the chairperson of the bargaining council actually clearly states that representation of their representation in the industry is becoming a factor which is worrisome to them, and is actually placing the bargaining council in harm's way of being deregistered, as they do not have the necessary representation. Now, that is very worrisome. We can't allow the majority to make decisions over the minority to make decisions over the entire sector for the majority of people working there. It's very important to understand that a bargaining council is set up between unions and employers' organizations. So you need to understand that that representation is very, very important at the end of the day. And when they themselves admit that they don't have the necessary representation, then we need to ask, why is the extension granted at the end of the day? What happened? And we would like those answers.
Mr. Mare, we hope you do get those answers and that this does not necessarily go in the direction of the court. But thank you so much for joining us here on the South African Morning. That is the Managing Director of Innovative Staffing Solutions, Arnoux Mare.